Red on the Streets. This is all about Bitcoin, a show dedicated to all things questions and markets related to Bitcoin, little b for the currency, and Bitcoin, big B for the network, a collective journey to understand, apply, and use innovation, all Bitcoin, all the time. I'm your host, Christine Lee, and let's have a live look at Bitcoin right now. The CoinDesk Bitcoin price XBX index trading at $43,551. Bitcoin is down about 4.7% over the past 24 hours. The most reliable reference prices for institutions since 2014 are now published under the CoinDesk brand, trusted globally as the leader in crypto news, events, and data. Taking a look at our top stories. ARK Invest rebutting Tesla CEO Elon Musk's concerns around Bitcoin's energy consumption, calling them, quote, misguided, saying that Bitcoin mining could become a net positive to the environment because of the industry's use of renewable energy sources. Nevertheless, Bitcoin's dip happening amid a combination of criticism from Musk and panic selling from investors who bought BTC during the recent rally. Meanwhile, exposure to cryptocurrency could have a profound impact on the risk profiles of financial institutions, according to a new report by insurance giant Allianz. Firms that offer crypto trading or custody services take on new third-party risks, including the cybersecurity or regulation. Indeed, a new Chainalysis report found cybercrime is on the rise. Ransomware-linked crypto addresses banked a record $406 million in 2020. Top U.S. operator Colonial Pipeline recently paid a 5 million Bitcoin ransom after being forced to shut down from a ransomware attack. And finally, Iran is cracking down on crypto miners using household electricity. The measure comes as the country faces a hydropower shortage during unusually dry conditions, according to the Tehran Times. Meanwhile, Indian crypto traders are seeing their bank accounts close and bank transfers fail as an unofficial ban appears to be taking shape. And joining us now to discuss is crypto pioneer Bobby C. Lee, co-founder of the longest-running Bitcoin exchange, BTC China, CEO of Ballet, and author of the upcoming book, The Promise of Bitcoin, The Future of Money, and How It Can Work for You. He's also a guest speaker at Consensus by CoinDesk. Welcome, Bobby.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Excited to be here.
Great to have you. All right, so Elon Musk is expressing those concerns about the environmental impact of Bitcoin. We're seeing a huge pullback in the crypto markets. What is your take? Well, I agree with the comment that his thoughts on the Bitcoin mining energy stuff is misguided. It's everything in the world, everything that moves takes energy, and it's a matter of perspective. Just remember that the amount of energy people use to mine Bitcoin is always less than the value of the Bitcoin that's mined out to the miners. So it's always worth it. So I don't care, if you're building cars, you're mining for Bitcoin, you're mining for gold, or even just building, high-rise buildings with steel and so on. All of that takes energy, and it's just a matter of perspective what energy is worth it, right? A trash to one person could be a treasure for another person. Just because someone doesn't care about Bitcoin, someone else really cares about it, it's worth mining it. And all goes to show that if the estimates are true that 60-80% of the mining happens in China, there are stats that in China, the Bitcoin mining itself is actually using 80% renewable energy, meaning through hydropower, excess hydropower. So all that would go to waste anyways. So it's really not in my opinion, it's not a devastating carbon footprint. Right. And the second and third uses are, though, however, coal and natural gas. But on the hydropower narrative, Iran is concerned about their hydropower shortage. And so they're asking people to cut back on Bitcoin mining. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, it's natural for authoritarian states to want people and direct people what to do, how to do it. I guess it's their right, it's their country, it's their government, it's their laws. But in my opinion, Bitcoin is censorship resistant, right? You cannot kill it. You cannot, basically, if I'm running a computer right now doing this live video stream with you, how do you know I'm not mining cryptocurrency? Right, it's like to a CPU, to a computer, I don't care if it's a dedicated mining rig or a generic purpose computer, there should be freedom to run any program you want, whether it's just running cycles to turn on the video camera or running cycles to do SHA-256 hashing. So it's really, it's all about freedom of speech. It's all about what can we do with the computers? What can we do with the processors?
Sure.
Do we need to obey every whim of the government?
Sure, governments can't shut it down, but they can certainly limit and restrict. And we're seeing that in India. They're closing bank accounts and suspending bank transfers related to crypto traders. So does this show that governments can put a dent into decentralized systems?
They can try. They feel like they can try to slow it down or kill it, but the reality is just a small. It's really a small impact. We saw this 4 years ago in China when China tried to unofficially kill off the exchanges, right? So BTC China had to shut down. We went through a very interesting 2017. This is just exactly 4 years ago. And now this year we're seeing some repeat things happen around the world with India shutting down. And it's no surprise because India also has a capital controlled society. Any country that doesn't have free flow of currency will find Bitcoin to be obnoxious and they will try to stop it. And that's just a reality, whether it's Russia, India, or many other countries with capital controls. I think, on the other hand, Bitcoin will thrive in countries where there's true freedom, liberty, and no capital controls.
I want to say, Bobby, Elon is even attacking this point. Throw up this tweet. He's saying that Bitcoin is actually highly centralized with supermajority controlled by a handful of big mining, aka hashing companies. A single coal mine in Xinjiang flooded, almost killing miners, and Bitcoin hash rate dropped 35%. Sound decentralized to you? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think he doesn't see the flip side of the coin. So it dropped decentralized. It dropped 35% hash rate, but did Bitcoin die? Right? Did it die off or not? Right? It just shows that Bitcoin is highly resilient. Right? When you have a big impact affecting a lot of miners. By the way, the 35% drop wasn't one mining consortium. It was a lot of different individual miners being impacted. Right? So it's just like the internet itself can reroute its network traffic. The internet, by the way, was built to withstand a nuclear explosion, right, around the world. The internet was really self-healing. So Bitcoin is also self-healing in that sense, right? So Elon, unfortunately, I wrote this book. I hope people, regular people who haven't been in crypto read it. I think Elon needs to read this book and understand what it means to be decentralized and censorship resistant. I think the hash power dropping is a good sign. It's a good sign that, hey, that means anyone can join in and some people can take it out. But the reality is that it's permissionless. So what that means is Elon himself or anyone else with the capital, resources, and the conviction can go and set up mining machines anywhere in the world, connect to the Bitcoin network peer-to-peer, and start mining Bitcoin and improve the hash rate. So it's really, really free for everyone to join. There's no application to apply for. There's no license to do Bitcoin mining.
And on this last thought, there is a report from Allianz saying that crypto Bitcoin is being used in cyber attacks and ransomware, and the connection we had there with Colonial Pipeline, which we saw, a top U.S. operator shut down its pipeline. So, what are the concerns around that?
Well, see, this is also misguided. So remember, thieves want to steal things that are valuable. So the fact that they try to steal Bitcoin, to me, is a great honor. That means Bitcoin is really well regarded by in this case for illicit purposes and stuff like that. But the reality is, think about this way. Have you ever heard of stories? You hear about bank robberies, people stealing gold, silver, and US dollars, but you never hear about people stealing airline reward miles or hotel reward points, because those are really useless, right? You don't hear about people stealing Monopoly money, right? You don't hear about people stealing Chuck E. Cheese tokens, right? Gaming arcade tokens. But the reality is people steal Bitcoin because Bitcoin is valuable. It's very useful. It can be transferred globally around the internet digitally, in a fraction of a second, right? So the fact that people try to steal it is what, in my opinion, what validates that Bitcoin is useful as a digital asset. It's something that's worth stealing for. And for example, if the theft or the ransom was asked for in US dollars, does it mean that the US dollar should be banned? Does it mean that the US dollar should be taken out of circulation just because thieves and con artists try to steal US dollars? I think not, right?
Well, another argument I also heard was that it's more traceable if thieves use Bitcoin, if they find out, what addresses they're using, what is connected to the ransomware. Yeah,
exactly. So there are a lot of strong analytics companies that can analyze where the flow of Bitcoin goes. Whereas if the ransomware was asked for in cash, it would be very hard to trace the cash. Just like it is very hard to trace the cash used by the drug lords, the illegal drug trade. Right, a lot of cash in suitcases, very hard to trace that.
Mm-hmm. All right, Bobby, we got to end it there. But thanks for joining us this afternoon, and everyone, check out the book. It's coming. When is it? When's the release date?
It's tomorrow, May 18th, The Promise of Bitcoin. It'll be available on Amazon and all your favorite booksellers around the nation.
All right.
It's called The Promise of Bitcoin, The Future of Money and How It Can Work for You. Hope you guys all get a copy and read it.
Thank you very much, Bobby.
All right, thank you.
That was Bobby Lee, the co-founder and former CEO of BTCC, China's first Bitcoin exchange. I think I said one additional C than I should have. All right, next week, Bobby Lee will speak at Consensus by CoinDesk, the largest event of the year, featuring top experts in crypto blockchain innovation and thousands of attendees from across the globe. To register for the event, go to events.coindesk.com. Coming up, BTC price analysis with crypto investment manager Wave Financial.
We are witnessing the greatest paradigm shift in finance in modern history. Join thousands of newsmakers and influencers talking the future of money in a live virtual experience. Consensus by CoinDesk. Register today.
The chart of the day is brought to you by Crypto.com, the world's fastest growing crypto app.
All right, Bitcoin slipped to about 42,200 earlier today, a 3.5-month low. Price recoveries remain limited, evidenced by several months of slowing momentum, suggesting that sellers remain in control. Centralized exchanges recorded inflows of over 35,000 BTC in the past 5 days, according to data source Into the Block. Investors typically move coins to exchanges when they intend to liquidate their holdings, and the total cryptocurrency market cap shed more than 400 billion during this price pullback. The relative strength indicator on the daily chart is now oversold. If initial support at 42,000 is broken, CoinDesk's Dominic Dantes says the next level of support is seen at around 34,300. And joining us now to discuss is Justin Chuh, senior trader at Wave Financial, a crypto investment firm. Welcome, Justin.
Hi, Christine. Thanks for having me here. Glad to be here as well.
Great to have you. So where's the bottom on Bitcoin? How low can it go?
Geez, that's the question everyone's asking, right? Well, I don't mean to be like a crystal ball or anything, but it's definitely great to see that support came in around 44 and 42 as expected. But if it does actually break, I see more buying activity probably coming up around 36 and 39. I mean, earlier in the start of the year, late January, early February, we never saw much trading activity down here in the low 40s. It kind of went up to, 32, 36. And once it hit 39, it kind of just the next day it was trading around 45,000. And this was early February. So this is a retest of kind of that area that we haven't seen that much. But, the support that came in overnight at the 44 and 42 level is good to see. But kind of just like you mentioned, all the inflows being reported over the past 5 days, that was before Elon Musk started tweeting about energy consumption, energy uses. So fundamentally, we could probably assume that, investors were gearing up to sell, and even technically looking at the charts with the lower lows and lower highs posted over the past 2 weeks, fundamentals and technicals mixing together was kind of showing that not that the bull run is over, but it's kind of due for a correction. Investors moving their assets onto the exchange. Why else would they be putting them there?
Should people buy the dip? That's another popular question.
Well, this is a decent time to get in. I mean, coming down, or 35% from all-time highs. That's probably, some investors probably should be buying around here. I mean, that's one way to manage risk. I don't expect them to be dumping their positions right back into the open market. So buying this dip would be some way to improve their existing position. But, Wave is a U.S. regulated, registered investment advisor, regulated in digital assets. And, that's some advice that we can give to some of our clients that have the risk appetite for it, but generally not abroad.
And what kind of activity are you seeing in the options market? I think, in some of your notes, you said call options at 100,000 and then put options at 30 to 40,000. That's a right to sell at 30 to 40,000, a right to buy at 100,000.
So puts being the right to sell, we're seeing more trade activity right now around the 40,000 and 50,000 puts, as that Deribit still continues to be the largest institutional money, but more of that unsophisticated retail money. If ETFs are available to U.S. investors, that could help pave the way to higher prices. But the outlook is, I still think we're still in a bull market as, Bitcoin and all the other blockchains become more accepted in the mainstream.
All right, Justin, thanks for joining the show. Appreciate your insights.
Yeah, thanks for the time.
All right, that was Justin Chuh, senior trader at Wave Financial. And that's it for All About Bitcoin. I'm your host, Christine Lee. Join us tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. in New York for First Mover, your first look at the day's global crypto news headlines. You're watching CoinDesk TV.